Right, eens even kijken. So where were we? Well, we discussed the software supply network components, the PDC components, and discussed their uses and what a software ecosystem is. So moving right along, we're also going to talk a little bit about metamodels, just to give you a theoretical basis for the things we've just mentioned. So first, what is a metamodel? Well, a metamodel is a model of a model. So I think you already know this from several other courses that you've followed at Utrecht. So here, for instance, you see a nice example of the meta-object framework, where class is basically an instance of is basically a super category of a class attribute and instance of UML. And then, well, you can implement it in some kind of Benutzermodell, as we show it here, which is a video, which also has some kind of instance class, and then instance of. So this gives you a nice idea of sort of different levels of metamodels. So metamodeling concerns the analysis, construction, and development of the frames, rules, constraints, models, and theories applicable and useful for modeling a predefined class of problems. So moving along to a metamodel that we've created. So here you can see the connections between, Mark is in the way again. Here you can see the connections between the product deployment context and the software supply network. So at the bottom you can see all the usual suspects. You see the actor, you see the trade relationships, you see the flows. And at the top you can see the product stack, of which it is a part. Whether it's a platform or hardware product, the medium that connects these two different stacks to each other. And yeah, through this metamodel we show that there's a connection. This is really important. It looks a bit formal, but it's really important for the modeling. Let me move ahead quickly. So if you see here the cubic eyes example, in the cubic eyes you see that there are several P's and C's and euro signs. But especially the flows and the P's that are marked also turn up here. So there's a perfect connection between this P1 and, well, guess where P1 is hanging out, this P1 of Sybase, and this P7 should also be somewhere, Euro 7, P7 right here. So there's always a link between those two things. So we've looked at a case study called Cubic Eyes. It's actually quite an old case study that we created for this lecture. Well, it's a vendor service that provides database-driven internet solutions. Basically, they make websites for real estate agents, and they try to have the Funda plugin into their websites. So they actually, here you can see, I think it's called the iMove product. Which is, of course, is a clever I move, as in I sell things. So here you can see service 1 called I move, and there's also several other components here. We already discussed these. And then moving right along, there you see the software supply network. Move my face again. And here you can see again, well, some companies, NetInvent, Chillcat, VDVorm, NVM, all these companies, HP. They deliver these products, they deliver several services, and together they service a customer with service 1, which is access to the iMove service. So research conclusions. Well, we've been doing this work quite extensively, and we've had many students doing this kind of work, but also if you simply Google for software supply networks, you find that many other scientists are using it now too in their modeling frameworks and in their own ways of modeling companies. So we find that companies really like these networks, especially the software supply network model. But we do find that the method doesn't scale very well. So well, if I had to model my current smartphone with all the apps on it, you can imagine it explodes. So we need some kind of grouping technique. And I think that's also a problem in the software supply networks themselves. Later on in this course too, you will see the different modeling methods that can be used for modeling software ecosystems. And you'll see that scale is definitely a problem. Think of Microsoft and its 10,000 partners. It's really kind of a complex network to draw. So we have a huge database. We've even done some research where we've combined the work of students and basically to model the Dutch software ecosystem. There we, for instance, found also some very interesting findings. One of them was that Microsoft is apparently playing a huge part in the Dutch software ecosystem. Not surprising, but it was, I think, 40% of all diagrams contained it. So in that sense, it really have some huge implications. So we found that the learning curves are quite high for the product deployment context, and the software supply network is very easy to learn. The flows, of course, are a problem. And also in modeling tools, it's quite challenging to model these flows. So that's also something we're still working on. In Visio, there are some templates available, also for your assignments. And these templates are perfectly fine. But of course, with Visio, yeah, you don't have a perfect link between the flows, the relationships, and the two entities at both ends of the relationships. So that's something where, yeah, we've been very pragmatic, but it's I think it's time, and I'll probably say this again 10 years from now, but I think it's time for us to come up with sort of a 2.0 of the software supply networks. Yeah, we've done quite a lot of work with companies. So like I mentioned before, the PDC's learning curve is very high. It's very technical. And the business managers really like the software supply network. But of course, you need the details from the PDC to understand the SSN. All right, so I think that's it for this lecture. Let me see. Oh yeah, so we've already done different typologies. So the first point we're already working on. Adoption and creation of a modeling tool is still a real challenge. And you can go to our website, softwareecosystem.org, for more information. I'm not sure if it's live at the moment. But either way, yeah, this research is something that's driving us currently. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at slinger.jansen@uu.nl. I think, well, this is should be enough for now for this lecture. Yeah, so this is definitely an important part for your practical assignments as well. Have a good day.